I am finally at a point where I can rebuild and start putting together my computer case. Hey there, this is Tom with Tom's Tech Show, and a while back I had taken apart, I had this computer case. It's got all different, this used to be this color, this pasty, color from the 90s for computers. I love this case, was always great because um, there's just this little, it has some clips here, and then the bottom here, you just have this one little opening here. You just grab that and pull it, and then the front of the case opens, and then you can take the side off. No screws or anything. It was very much a completely non screwdriver needed case to get into it and to move drives around and different things like that. So that was always why I loved this case, and I just said, well, it's simple. I can just keep upgrading the parts of the case. So, I would just upgrade, the power supply, upgrade, different pieces inside, and it had enough slots and everything for me to be able to do things with it. So, I've got, this, I took it apart. It actually had one point where it's all gooey inside here where rats or mice had gotten into it and peed inside of it. So I wanted to clean all that up. So this is, kind of the front. It's kind of a little grungy, so I wanted to clean it up. That's the cover of it. So you can see that you can just yank the top front of it and it just kind of pulls out. So, and there's the side panel. Once you yank this front piece off, the side panel just pops off and you're able to get inside and get into all the components. So right now, this is my computer, how it's running. It's just sitting here on the desk in parts. The power supply is sitting there. The motherboard is just sitting on the desk, basically. Been doing that for quite a while. Checking my glue gun because I need that to do some things. So took it outside and kind of unscrewed everything, disconnected all the pop rivets. It's all pop riveted together, the pieces that you don't need to take apart. But to get it apart, to do this stuff, I had my scrub brush. I scrubbed inside of it, got it cleaned out, did some sanding, got some different parts of it sanded, kind of started this paint job. So it came along pretty nicely, taped off some areas and was able to get it all painted and set up. So right now it's sitting here on my desk, and there was one pop rivet that was here that they didn't even put in from the manufacturer. So that was kind of, discovering some of these things. The manufacturer missed one of the pop rivets. So now, so I'm looking at some of those things. So I got that one put back in, so the case isn't really super flimsy anymore. But I did notice going around here, there's some of these pop rivets I've got in the front here are drilled out, but I've got some other ones that I still need to drill out. So, all right, so now get my drill out. Drill the rest of these top rivets out. Simple, standard little drill bit. Be able to go and out really quick. Actually, like a 1/4 inch drill bit. So it's not too big. Makes it all fit together really nicely. Go on this side. Yeah, a couple on this side. Get this thing fitting back together. Two. Let's get a little chunk and pieces out of it. Go. One at the top here. It needs to kind of go on top. A couple little tabs in the back that rest and get riveted back into the top piece. So we're going to put that on. There's three little tabs here. This. There are three little tabs, and go together like so that you've got the motherboard sitting on this little thing here, like locked in there, so that it won't go anywhere. So that right. There's that part and that part. So we've got all this on here. Now we have our rivet tool. Hopefully these holes, I tried a couple of them. They seem to work correctly for the size. I'd be able to push that in there just like that. Looks like it's going to work. And be able to operate these things in. So here. And as far as it will go. Go. Now one on the front here so that we can. There's a lot of sliding around on the desk, but noise. But here we go. Let's get. Okay. There's two that we need to put some more in. If you notice back here, there's I have my Buzz Lightyear sitting here on the desk. This is, of course, the Toy Story version of Buzz Lightyear, not the new Lightyear thing. This is the Tim Allen version, who I definitely consider to be the only Buzz Lightyear. Yes, I know that it's Chris Evans who's playing the new one, who is obviously more, I guess, politically oriented currently for Disney, I guess. Although they are doing the Disney Plus, they are doing the Santa Claus TV series with Tim Allen, so about that. But I know that the cartoon, there was a Buzz Lightyear cartoon, right? And that was voiced by Patrick Warburton. That was not Tim Allen. Patrick Warburton. So you got to know these things when you're dealing with your favorite characters, who's voiced them and why, and different things like that. So even when I asked Patrick Warburton about it, he said no, that's Tim Allen's deal. He was just filling in just for the cartoon part. It's always been Tim Allen. So I kind of go with that it's different. Okay, a couple more here to put in, pop off. This is going extremely smoothly. So my worry was that, of course, that I would get the pieces installed out of order. Have it figured out. That one is not going through there. So okay, now we've got that piece. This top piece is now on, nice and solid. The whole case it was really flimsy before, but now it's all starting to come together. The next step, I think that I'm going to do is set that over there for a second. Now the buttons. The buttons on it. See, there's like different color buttons on the front of the Buzz Lightyear thing. So, okay, so I do have these buttons, right? So these were the power buttons, and the other the reset and other buttons. So I'm trying to go a little bit for, kind of a little bit of, the Buzz Lightyear kind of front of him has different color buttons things. So trying to do that, I did do some little practicing here that this is red here on this side, right? So I've got this, my red permanent marker, go around the rest of the edges here, just kind of color it in. We're going to remove the safety glasses, grab the reading glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, that's, so we'll just kind of give it a good paint. It does, every once in a while we'll get a little bit of a kind of a run in it because it's permanent marker up here. I hate phone calls that are the number of scam phone calls and prank phone calls or calls from unknown sources that I get nowadays. I mean, just I don't think anybody has anything else to do right now, but get phone calls from everywhere. I mean, everybody wants to buy your house, right? They're going to buy your house or they're going to sell you a car warranty. No, I'm not live here. Why would I want to sell my house? Holy crap. Okay, now then we're going to make another one of these be green. Different green than the green that it was painted. Should contrast. Okay. One green. Dark, much darker green. That lime green. You can go all the way down the edge because these buttons are like inset inside the thing, but I do want to make the front even color. So switch to the blue. I do have this tape here, so I put this tape on here. See that there? It's on a piece of tape because there's a spring here that keeps the button. Once it clips in there, that spring holds the button out. So I wanted to make sure that I keep that intact, so I taped it all. Mostly because I lost a spring in during the disassembly. It flew off, so I had to run a magnet around the carpet and stuff trying to find it, and you know, I found. Okay, now we've got that. So those are all there. Now these are the lights. So there's LED lights that are on the case that are on. Oh, they're not in the case right now because right now they're right here. So there's all these wires that are not on there. There's the buttons and the power hard drive lights that are here in this, and the power switch is here still outside of the case. So we still have to do all that, put all that, reassemble all of that into the front. But I think I can get all these into the front case because this is kind of independent of the rest of the computer. It has to come off. It has to be able to sit there. And it's permanent marker, so it tends to dry extremely quickly. So that's nice. So I want to make sure I hold this as spring stays in there. This one goes into here. Power is, and click, it's in. So it's a little power button right here. I have a little power button. So, and it's gonna push against the power button in the back. So, and they just clip in. So if you see back here, I can see these two clips that I had to push against, and that's where the spring is underneath that, just to hold it to the front. So now then, the next one. So if I go by the Buzz Lightyear kind of thing, the first one is red, then green, then blue. So I'm going to maintain that pattern. So we're going to have the first one be red, the next one be green, and then the next one be blue. Okay. The green one, it's got its spring still. Right in here. Sticking a little bit. Okay, there we go. Green. Blue. Just a little bit. Go. Okay. Got the blue, the green, red buttons all back inside there. Now on the inside here, these little plastic clear pieces stuck inside here. That so that it, when the LED was here, it was behind it. If the LED was behind it, it would show the light through to the front. Now I've got my hot glue gun over here. I can just put some hot glue on them. Keep them attached. My Ryobi hot glue gun, it has a battery. Nice. I mean, I don't expect them to really go anywhere. But yeah. So just a little dab of hot glue. From flipping out, you know, when you're taking this cover on and off all the time. Okay, so that's our front cover. That's done. I got my buttons. I like my buttons here, so I've got my buttons that are here, all nice. And I do have these. So this is black kind of thick kind of poster board, kind of artwork board. The stuff that I had a couple of pieces. So those are going to be glued into the case so that when the cover is on, covering the majority of the space. And I got another one, bigger one here for the top part to be able to stick inside there. So those are going to glue into the case though, not glue into the front cover here. So that is done. Okay. And we're getting somewhere. So let's bring the big case back over here and we can start attaching my screws that I need to put back in there. Okay, so now all these buttons, there's this part in the middle that's here that we have to line all the buttons on. So they've got to be, you know, kind of lined up directly underneath. So they have the little switches. So there's a bunch of different places that this can go. You can have different fronts on this type of case. Some have, you know, the lights first, the lights second, you know, then button, then light stuff. So that's why there's this grid across there that shows that there's a lot of places to put these. So we'll line this up. I think I can get these things lined up directly under the light, directly under the button, using that as kind of guide there in order to do that and get that done. So jump through this real quick. This is pretty quick and easy. You can do just kind of snap them in. Will be good. I think they go right up next to each other. So as I clip them in, they just continue on, and we'll get power button done next. Okay, now I got the power button. We're just gonna put it in here. It doesn't go from the top. It actually goes the bottom, as I'm remembering now. So it has a little tab that goes over there, and then you screw in the top. It's right in there. So there we go. Next thing we have up here in the front is the speaker. So we want to be able to, have it beep at us and make sound when something goes wrong and it goes crazy, which is not very often. In these computers, they're pretty good about not making too many sounds. Only when something happens that's bad does it make something out the main speaker. This there. That just pressing, simply moving one tab over is all it needs. Just to get that connected and in. So there we go. Good now. Okay. So we got these cables. Those will actually go into the motherboard, of course, once we get that situated inside the box for all the power reset switches, that, so, and the lights and everything else. LEDs stuff will match up in there. We get that all back together. Okay. All right, now we're going to flip this over, and we've got this other next piece to go on. This is the back of the computer, and this piece isn't the side that comes off real easy. This is the hard side that is underneath the motherboard, basically. So I gotta get it so it's connects up on the top first, and then that's why I said there's, hopefully I can get this all done in the right order, because it definitely has a specific order for all of the pieces to go through and to be able to attach, get everything in. So I think this just has a couple of pop rivets on each side, so to be able to make pretty quick work of that. So yeah, looks like we've got 4 pop rivets on the top. One, two. Some of these I think aren't drilled out quite all the way. They still have some remnants of old pop rivets that were in there. I mean, I'm only drilling them out with a 1/4-inch drill. I don't want to go any further. Not a 1/4 inch. Let me see. It's actually, we're using the 1/8-inch drill. Bottom of that. So I was actually using an 1/8-inch drill. 1/4 inch. Yeah, that would have been huge. So using an 1/8-inch drill, make the holes to get these things to go in right, and just if it needs any more, push or anything else, then we'll do that. Wiggle the drill around and get them a little bit. So then once we get that one done, then we are going to flip it over. We'll do the other side. We got one more. Sorry. Yes, some of this during this video got re-recorded and re-overlaid, my talking here, because the iPad that I had up above that was shooting down, giving me this overhead shot, was making this horrible buzzing sound. So I kept the video, and then we're just overlaying some of the audio just to give it, a little description as it goes on. Some of these, looks like some of these on the top were a little bit harder to go in. So I did drill these out a little bit and make it a little easier. So, but those get done, those go in, and then we start on the next section. Okay, well, now we've got, I think just the bottom piece. No, this is the top piece. Top piece left to go on here. And I did do that in the correct order, so we've got all the pieces, correctly put together so that it all fits. So I was, definitely wondering whether I was going to actually be able to get it reset the way it came apart. When I took it apart like 2 months ago, and getting it painted and then sanded, because I got some runs in the paint, and then I had to resand it down and give it a little extra painting stuff. So yeah, so that that kind of happened. Now I got to drill out. Some of these still have the little top rivet pieces in them, so I clean them out. But that done, and yes, I am noticing again that the color of the computer is very close to the color of my Ryobi tools. So that's, just the way it goes. And the paint was selected just by walk through the aisle of Walmart and what's bright and crazy, and then that is, and then grab the can and come home and paint. So it wasn't planned, it wasn't staged. It was more, the idea more was the Buzz Lightyear idea, to where I'm making, that orange front panel with the red, green, and blue buttons across the front and stuff. That was more the idea of it in choosing the color. Not that it was all kind of ready here for some other stuff. I mean, now here in the front, what I'm going to do is this. I've made wedge and sit in here like this. Forward. Push it in there. Get the corners all set. There's a couple of corners in it. There we go. Setting there. Okay. So right like that. So it's right here like this. So I've got this little board here. Just the camera down just a little bit. And then I'm just going to, again, take a little bit of hot glue. Put it here. Affixed. Doing things. A little dribble there. We'll pick that up. If there's anything worse than, hot glue on your hands when you're trying to, these remaining rivety pieces. Rather gather these up. So all that, you're doing something and you got to hold, put hot glue on it. All my storage boxes that I have for things. My storage boxes, I build cardboard, dividers and places for, like the drill goes specifically into a slot that's built out of cardboard and just sits in there. So it's, make sure that it stays there and everything else. So, go. Let's kind of get this pushed in here. It's got these little tabs here that I'm trying to push it inside of, so that it kind of also helps to stay supposed to be. Move around right there. It's in that spot right there. And I will have the hot glue. Inevitably gets on your battery. It's on the bottom of the battery all the time. I don't know how that does. Something crazy. Okay. A little bead, just a little bead of hot glue here. The nice thing about hot glue, if you do something a little bit wrong, a lot of it, you can kind of back off a little bit from time to time, and kind of a little bit extra there. Peel it off and peel it back a little bit. Out of the way. There we go. Okay. Of course, I'm burning my fingers on the hot glue. Okay. Now, this computer is ready for the motherboard. That's going to be another video. I have this, let's go back here. I do have this little piece right here. And what I've got, I was wondering how to hang my hard drives. My hard drives used to be just flying all over the place inside of the case, screwed on, hooked on everywhere. But what I've got now is I've got these little red holders, and since they're all 3.5 inch SSD drive or 2.5 inch SSD drives, and this is a 3.5 inch tray, I've got these, so the hard drives will go in there. And then I've made extra holes here, so see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 holes here. I'll be able to put the drives and screw them in, so there'll be one 2, 3, 4, and there's enough space in between them all so that it mounts them all correctly, because I've got 4 SSD drives and 1 mSATA drive in this system. So who needs that much storage? I don't. But anyway, that's going to be one of the next steps when we build it and put the motherboard actually inside of it, is to utilize these. And then I also got my SATA cables are like 10 miles long, so I got this, some very short SATA cables with the metal lock. I like these because they have the metal clip on the end, so when you use them they clip on, so they stay on very securely. So we got that to do as well. But like I said, that will be in the next computer assembly video. So let's finish this off. So we've got this. I'm going to move some stuff here. This is more easily viewable. So we'll set this back a little bit. So this is the computer here. Now this panel here, this is the panel that goes on when you're, it just sits up there and there's a little bump in it, and it will hold and stay, so that when you want to get into something, you just pull it off, and then that goes back on. But it just goes on there right like that. And the front cover here just goes on like this. Little dots in the front, and just kind of slap it right on there, and boom, now you've got a case sitting there. It's all done up and ready to go, ready to be utilized, put back together, and all that. So there you go, computer case all redone and ready to go, ready for use, ready for the motherboard and the hard drives and everything to go back in there. All right, so that's next step in my computer rebuild. Thanks for watching and hanging out with me as I build this thing back together for my YouTube production studio.